So according to Google, the average age where kids get their first phone is 10 to 11 years old. I didn't get mine till I was 14. Now granted, I was the only child, so I was a spoiled little kid, but the one thing that was missing out of everything was a phone. And I asked my parents for a phone for years, but they always gave me that, do you have some phone money type of answer, so I just stopped asking. So for like 3 or 4 years, all I had was an iPod Touch, which, at the time wasn't bad, but, I still wanted a phone. So that whole first year of high school, all my friends had their little iPhones, and all I had was my little iPod Touch, using that text-free app. Now don't get me wrong, you can make calls and send text messages, as long as you have Wi-Fi. So you can probably imagine that no matter where I went, I would always ask for Wi-Fi, whether it was at my friend's house, at church, at Waffle House, on roller coasters. Honestly, if you put me in the desert, one way or another, I'm finding Wi-Fi. So whenever I went to my friend's house and their Wi-Fi wasn't working, best believe I was gonna go home and call child services and be like, their Wi-Fi, it's not working. They need to get it right. So one day my dad just has a change of heart and he goes, hey, you're 14. It's time to get you a phone. So the first phones that instantly came to my mind was the iPhone 5C and the iPhone 5S. Now they had just come out like 2 weeks prior. So I was like, I'm gonna be the first kid in school to have this phone. So we get to the Sprint store and I instantly run to the iPhones. But I think by the time that we got there, they had sold out of the iPhone 5S. So I was like, okay, looks like I'm getting the 5C. So I turn around and I'm like, hey dad, I want this one. So I turn around to my dad and he's not even looking at the iPhones. He's not even looking at the Samsungs. He's looking at the flip phones. And I look at all the flip phones that he's looking at and I'm like, I know for a fact he will not let me go to school with this. So he takes it up, he's about to buy it, and I'm here just holding back the tears because I'm like, I'm really about to go to school with this trash. And the Sprint guy goes, find everything you're looking for? And my dad goes, yeah. So now I can already see it. I can already see the teasing that my boy Jared and Justin were about to give me for having this disgrace of a phone. Oh, and might I add, you want to know the messed up part about this whole situation? Both of my parents, they had iPhones. Granted, they didn't know how to use them, but yeah, they had iPhones. And here they were about to give me this Samsung flippity flop. I don't know what they were going to give me. Like, it was so bad. I honestly would have preferred just using the iPod Touch and begging for Wi-Fi for a couple more years. But then I look behind the salesman and I see a sign. And it was one of those signs where it's like, trade up to get a new iPhone. So I figured, wait, I have an iPod Touch. Do you think there's a chance I could trade my iPod for a phone? So I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, is it possible to trade my iPod for a new iPhone? And he goes, yeah, considering you have the latest iPod Touch, it would cover most of the 5C price. So once he said that, I calmed down a little bit, and then I hit dad with the puppy eyes, and I was like, Dad, can I trade my iPod for a new iPhone? And then he goes, why should I buy you a new iPhone? And let me tell y'all something. You know those Apple geniuses at the Apple stores that know like everything you need to know about an Apple product? That was me trying to make a pitch to get this iPhone 5C because I was not leaving this store until I had a blue iPhone 5C in my hand. I mean, I broke down the settings, the camera, the A6 chip, the software, like you name it. And surprisingly, it worked. Even the salesman was impressed. So I got the phone and I was a happy camper. I later went on to get the iPhone 6S, which is the phone I still have to this day. And also I do realize this year is the last year of my contract with this phone. So when that new iPhone comes out and it's time to, make a pitch, best believe I'm gonna be like 4 Apple geniuses put together. And I might even bring Tim Cook just in case my dad, wants to be shady.